They had a lot of empty stages. Have 3 milkshake girls leading grandma into the big blender. Hello and welcome to the EuroWhat, episode 269, dropping on May 16th, 2025. We are a pair of Americans trying to make sense of the Eurovision Song Contest. I'm Ben Smith, and I'm here with my co-host, Mike McComb. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Ben.
In this episode, we'll be going over the Eurovision 2025 semifinal results as we get ready for the grand final. Excellent work on our master plan of having this year's grand final episode be the 269th in honor of the 69th Eurovision Song Contest. Nice!
We will get to semifinal 2 shortly.
Yes.
But yeah, it has been a very full week, and we are only up to Thursday. When we recorded our last episode, it was before the Turquoise Carpet opening ceremony event, so maybe we should get caught up on that.
I like the spirit of what they were trying to do this year and spread it out all over the city and have it kind of feel like it took over. We started in one location. The contestants would appear, they would get on a tram, and then they would go into the press center and then be barraged by everybody and their microphones.
I still don't get the Turquoise Carpet as an event. I understand the purpose of having an opening ceremony. I understand the purpose of having a photo op thing just because it's something for local press and the press of each country being represented. But it doesn't seem like there's ever a really fully fleshed out plan in the event actually happening.
Everybody in the planning of the Turquoise Carpet always seems to have assumed that somebody else has figured out the details, and it's realizing day of, even
simple things like they should talk to the person here, then move on to the next station. They would get to the press center, they would speak with was it Odette? Was that her?
Yes, it was Odette.
And they would talk with her and then backtrack to go to this puzzle wall thingy.
They were calling it a puzzle, and I assumed that meant that the background of everybody's heart was going to form a unified image and wasn't just generic Switzerland background number 37 or 32 or whatever. It was more akin to one of those sticker books where you collect all the stickers for the soccer players.
It really feels like nobody did an actual walkthrough of the full path. Each person only did the section that they were immediately responsible for. Overall, it seemed to go off without a hitch. There were a number of protests. They didn't really do anything to hide the protests, which I thought was interesting.
One thing that really gave this a unique vibe and that they reminded us during the broadcast that helped a lot of things come into focus for me is that part of what Basel is doing this year is that the broadcast here of the Turquoise Red Carpet was run by students. All the little bumps, I'm this is like when you would watch the news in high school, or at least at my high school, they're morning announcements were a newscast, and that was the class you could take. And sometimes the announcements went off flawlessly, and other times there was stuff happening.
I was definitely feeling for the students being oh wow, this is a major undertaking. And overall, they did a great job.
Yeah, they did a really good job. Everybody was very clear on their part of the picture, but then when you sort of unfold it, it's this is not a drawing of a bird at all.
Yeah.
Just sort of the Exquisite Corpse game. Everybody is very confident that they were drawing a pelican, and now we have revealed, nope.
That pelican's not flying.
But yeah, no, the signed puzzle wall is next year's host city gift.
Yep. So, I guess maybe we should start talking about the potential recipients of that gift with the results from the semifinals.
Yes.
So, semifinal 1 happened on Tuesday, and the 10 countries that got through were Norway, Albania, Sweden, Iceland, Netherlands, Poland, San Marino, Estonia, Portugal, and Ukraine. Each of us got 7 out of the 10 right in our personal predictions. My personal predictions happened to match what we as a show predicted. So we were wrong about Belgium, Croatia, and Cyprus. I feel like Croatia, that was a big swing. You always got to take a big swing when you're trying to get 10 out of 10 on this. Cyprus, a little bit of a surprise, but I think the big surprise was Belgium.
Yeah, that was the one I was most surprised about, because when I was watching the full Cyprus performance, I'm there are some very cool moments in this, and then you just have the logistics between all of those moments live on stage, and it was either going to work or it didn't, and it just didn't. Belgium I was much more confident about because like what we had seen was very impressive. I thought the full expanded 3 minutes of that song, they were doing a lot of cool stuff. I thought his vocal at the beginning was maybe a little rough to my ears, but like that was about it for me.
So my husband's not able to watch the semifinals live this year. So he got home on Tuesday and it's like I have to like sit there very quietly as we're rewatching the show. So I've seen this show several times at this point. But after Belgium's performance, he like slapped his legs and was just like, "Wow, Belgium is here to play." And it was just like, "Yep, they are." And then just like going back to typing something on my computer. I think there were some really interesting quirks that came out of these results. The one that I'm most tickled by is that all 5 non-qualifiers were songs fully in English. The only song that is 100% English that made it through was Norway's. That is a lot of non-English that is now in the grand final, and I love that.
Yeah, no, I am super jazzed about how non-English speaking the grand final as a whole is this year.
Other superlatives from these results: Ukraine maintains their perfect qualification record. I was getting real scared.
Oh, I was like, is this the one that doesn't click? And just like their reaction in the moment was just so good. Like I would also be in that place if I was from Ukraine and knows my country's legacy of qualifying for the Eurovision Grand Final, and we have had 9 names and none of them are ours.
And the fact that like Belgium hasn't been called yet, Cyprus hasn't been called yet. It's like, oh, this is getting real. San Marino got their first qualification since 2021. So congratulations to Tutta l'Italia. And this was a fun tidbit that I saw posted on Blue Sky. It's the first time that an act qualified for San Marino where it is that act's first attempt in representing San Marino. Also debuting at this semifinal was the new results reveal method. With the first 9 announcements of who advanced, they would show 3 countries and one of those 3 would move on. And then they would do a split screen thing so that you get the immediate reaction when somebody finds out that they advanced. What did you think of this new process?
I kind of went on a journey. Like if at the start, I'm like, oh, I don't like this. Like, I know that they said they want to focus more on the artist, but like, do we really need to show 3 people in split screen where 2 of them aren't getting like immediate, like we're going through? But then as it went on, it became sort of a wonderful, surprising guessing game of sometimes there would be 3 things on screen where I'm like, oh, I didn't think any of these were going through. Oh, which one is this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also I thought that the production team was very good to cut very quickly to the celebrating contestant and getting the contestants that had not received good news yet, like off the screen. So that
sort of immediately. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like when we get down to the last one, it is a lovely moment to go name by name by name and like go, this country, big round of applause, big cheer. So like everybody does have that moment in the sun.
Again, I don't think the old method was necessarily broken, but I'm not seeing any immediate problems with this one. And yeah, I think it's a good change. Not a necessary change, but a good change.
Exactly. We also have got like the first taste of sort of what the hosting vibe was going to be this year.
Yeah. So we do have access to the online press center, so we have been able to see the dress rehearsals.
In some of the rehearsals, they're trying some stuff that's probably not going to make the main show because they want to test it with the full audience.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, like it's been very interesting. I'm sort of digging Hazel's whole Andy Kaufman anti-comedy vibe. Because, like, there's stuff that's not working, but she has committed to the bit. And, like, it clicked for me today. It's like, oh, no, she's just German. Like, it's a very German sense of humor. And if something is going bad, just like, yeah, no, like, we're going to be dealing with that together. I'm going to ad-lib about that now.
Sure. I mean, granted, like, Andy Kaufman's thing was not to everybody's taste. I don't know, like especially like during the rehearsals and stuff where it's just like trying to get audience members involved and the audience member does not know that they are going to be involved until the half second beforehand.
Yeah, like you need to have like a producer going up to the people that you're talking to, be like, hi, Hazel's going to be here in like 5 minutes. It needs the equivalent of the flight attendant going to the person in the exit row and getting a verbal consent.
Yep. Exactly. I get the feeling she's maybe getting sidelined a little bit, especially with semifinal 2. There was a lot that changed between the rehearsals and what the actual show was. And it felt like she was much more assigned to the teleprompter in semifinal 2 than the ad-libbing piece.
In semifinal 1, we had a lot of time in the green room where they were counting the votes, I think, and just over time it's like, oh, you had 3 interviews planned and nobody wants to go to like one of the 2 other countries that you could be talking to. So we're just going to sit here for 3 minutes together and learn how long that feels.
So semifinal 2, shall we start getting into that?
Yeah, let's get into it. So the results of semifinal 2, Lithuania, Israel, Armenia, Denmark, Austria, Luxembourg, Finland, Latvia, Malta, and Greece have qualified to the grand final. We were 7 out of 10 as a show. You were 7 out of 10 on your picks, Mike. I was 8 out of 10 because I had the forethought to have Armenia. During the show, I was not confident about that at all. Denmark did such a good job of keeping so much of their staging in their back pocket in the 30 seconds they showed us. I was so delighted and surprised by that performance.
Absolutely. And they even did like some revamping as well. Like there were some audio effects that were happening during that performance.
Yeah, it was thumpier.
Yeah, and like I'm also starting to wonder if maybe Cecil has been playing up that like, oh, I've been sick this entire time, because she has sounded great all week, and it's like, oh, if this is what she sounds like when she's sick, I really want to hear what she sounds like at 100%, because I think she's been sounding phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, Denmark. This is their first qualification since 2019. And yeah, they finally figured stuff out. They figured out how to stage something compellingly. Oh, yes.
Yeah, just like, who did you guys hire? Book them immediately.
Absolutely.
Get them in the mix from the start. Let's see, in terms of other fun superlatives, this is the first time all 5 Nordic countries have qualified for the grand final since 2014.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, in 2014, Denmark had an automatic in as host.
Huh. Yeah, that didn't even occur to me, which I think is also making like Australia not qualifying like all the more disappointing, because like they are in the Nordic group when it comes to the allocation pots. And if Australia got through, that would have been a lot of points heading their way.
Mm-hmm. It is also the second year in a row that all 3 of the Baltic nations have made it. Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. Good for them.
Ooh.
Finland also sort of straddling the line between Nordic and Baltic. So hooray for Finland. On the Latvian note, this is the first time Latvian will be heard in the grand final.
Yay.
That's just neat. I just love when there's a new language, just sort of like when we had Lithuanian a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And then on like another weird geographical note, this is the first time that there are no former Yugoslavian countries in the final since 2013. Yeah, I'm kind of bummed about that.
The ones that we missed in our predictions, so we mentioned Australia, Serbia not getting through, and Czechia, which disappointed about that, but based on the performances in the semifinal, I'm not all that surprised, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was a little underwhelmed with the staging, and then he seemed to have like some nerves or something tonight where it was an off performance, and you can't have an off performance in the semifinal.
Looking at the rehearsals, I thought this was the best performance of the performances that he gave, but yeah, something just wasn't clicking. I thought that the all-white costuming with the all-white video staging, there wasn't a lot of like visual contrast that was happening, particularly in that final sequence where they're adding in video effects. It was just starting to look kind of blurry to me.
The staging let it down, I felt.
Yeah. I did not realize that there were going to be so many like large stage elements.
I would kind of like to know, like, who's staging pissed off the stage crew the most? Because, like, I will say, like, over the course of watching the rehearsals we had access to, it did get better. They were a well-oiled machine by the time of the show. Australia, I kind of like what they were doing with that, but, like, it needed 2 more dancers to me. They had a lot of empty stage. Have 3 milkshake girls leading grandma into the big blender. On the flip side, Luxembourg using like 97.3% of all staging elements and stage.
Oh my goodness, Luxembourg. Like I know when we talked about it originally, I was kind of lukewarm about it, but like the way that they used that stage and like took advantage of every single element. This is just their second year back, and they are fully demonstrating that there's like, no, we've been studying this. We just because we weren't playing doesn't mean we weren't paying attention. And yeah, that was phenomenal to watch.
Yes. The full reveal on Greece's performance. You had been concerned about that before, and just seeing the full narrative happening just really beautifully, I thought.
Yeah, gorgeous. And also it made it seem like they were listening to all of our notes, even though we were commenting after the fact. Like, you got the white dress that you had requested. It wasn't just the blue background with the like digitized head or everything. Like, yeah, like that was an incredible performance to watch.
The other one that, like, based on the 30-second clip, I was on the hype train for this season, but then especially just the full 3 minutes, Latvia. They did the thing.
Yeah.
Just like when the tails happen, it's just,
Yep.
Yeah. Just like, yes, do not trust these people. Do not eat the food they provide.
Yeah. Yeah, and they sounded incredible because, I mean, that is one of the like very difficult things at Eurovision, where it's just like you have so many microphones and the potential for sound issues. And they sounded great. And like, I'm sure like they've had a lot of practice. They've been around for quite a while, but they have put in the work. And yeah, that was just gorgeous to watch. And it's just like, oh, I hope they get through because this is just neat.
This is just neat. What if we had a Eurovision thing that was just neat? Based on the 30 seconds, I knew was already not to my taste, but just like does seem like they just sort of developed it in a lab to just do nothing for me. Austria does what you expect it to, so good on them. But I don't love that performance-wise, because like the thing I've been wondering all season is, what are they going to do at the end? Like, what parts is he singing? And not the hard part.
No. So one of the things that I wish could happen in relation to how we produce this show is the karaoke album getting released like as soon as possible. But it usually comes out like middle of April. And so we're well into our review series. But the karaoke album is just basically all of the backing tracks. And it is such a revelatory album. It's like, oh, like that's how you can really kind of pick up on like all the filigrees that were happening in Finland's song, and like how much is backing vocal. Like there is a lot of backing vocal happening in Armenia's entry,
yes,
for example. But yeah, with Austria, the rave part of it, and like I was not surprised that was going to be pre-recorded, because I don't know if a human could actually replicate that.
I wasn't surprised, but I was underwhelmed, especially because just choreography wise, he's kind of just having a tantrum on the boat.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was just like, oh, he is just writhing around on the floor. And but like one of the things that they did fix from the rehearsal was there was a distinct shift from the live vocal to the rave vocal. And it's like, ooh, that's going to be a big problem if they don't fix that for the show. I think they did fix it for the show. It didn't catch my ear if they didn't.
We have so many things that are making such wonderful use of color too this year that just like the full black and white is just a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah, or I don't know, a little pretentious. I think that might be what my hang up is with Austria's entry as a whole. It's like so much of this is pretentious and just like, yeah, like I was gonna say, it's like I don't want to discredit like JJ's talent, but it's just like, well, it's like it still just kind of comes back to party tricks for me. So yeah, this is a song that's not for me. But yeah,
it's just like so much staging versus Finland. Just hearing the live backing vocalists was delightful for me on that one, and the force of personality that Erica Vickman has.
Oh my goodness,
that entire song.
Yeah, like I mean, when it was selected at UMK, I was just kind of like, okay, I see what Finland's going for here. But like every time that I've seen that performance the last couple of days, I've had the stupidest smile on my face at the end of it, which I guess is kind of on theme for the song. Oh man, yeah, like good job, Finland. You're
yeah, just like they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, looking ahead to the grand final, which will be happening on Saturday. Going back into the like superlatives piece of it, Denmark, UK, Armenia, Norway, Austria, and Malta. Those are the only songs that are fully in English. the rest of the field, so like
20 songs
will have some other non-English language in it, plus whatever you want to classify Estonia, like whatever they're doing. I feel weird calling that Italian. I don't want to have a fight with my husband
somebody
later.
on Blue Sky called it Schengen area Italian, and like that nails it on the head. Just like, yeah.
Schengen area language is now going to be like part of my vocabulary and talking about songs in the future. It's like, oh, that is such a helpful phrase. We should get into the auto-qualifier performances since they were laced into the semifinal shows. Were there any particular standouts for you?
France, I think they're doing a real good job with their staging these last few years, and like this one is no exception. Former host of the show, Ryan, did describe one moment in her performance as looking like a fart, and yes, it does.
Oh, good. I'm glad you saw that too.
The movement of the sand behind her.
Yeah, it is rather propulsive.
It's very propulsive, but like the rest of it is very good. I hope that whatever she needs to do to not get overly emotional about the song. At the end of like the first rehearsal, like she like audibly coughed, like right at the end.
Well, that was the thing. I think it was like the post right after the one where Ryan mentioned the farting of the sand. Luann had mentioned that it's like, yeah, sand does get in my mouth, and like I have to like maneuver it to get under my tongue so that I can continue singing. And you could sort of see that happening during the semifinal performance. But yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, she cannot get emotional. Like she will literally choke up if she does that.
Yeah, I think what Germany has done with Baller is very good staging. Like I like the very skeletal boombox into the club. I think they've done it well. I have no clue if it's going to click with people, but I think they're doing what they need to do.
I don't know. I like the idea of it, and I do like the changing of the setting. Like I think it is good stage craft from the TV audience perspective, but for full verse and a full chorus, she's behind the stereo and hiding from the audience.
Yeah.
And so like there's no audience reaction that's happening until she comes out like back in front, and they're all just like, oh good, you're still here. So yeah, but I think Germany will be okay. I loved Switzerland's performance. Like that, like, so do you watch Great Pottery Throwdown?
I am like not regularly, but I'm aware of what it is. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You know how there's the one judge who will like burst into tears if there's like a beautiful glaze on a piece. That was me during the rehearsals for Switzerland, because like everything that camera operator is doing is just like that was a syllabus in cinematography.
Yeah, they've taken what France did a few years ago with Voila as like the baseline, and then doing some new visual language with it, because like there's some shifts in focus and perspective during the shift in the momentum of the song. The camera angles get real fast to the point that like during the semifinal one performance they kind of had a breakdown.
Yeah, that was so disappointing.
Yeah, I hope they figure out what's going on. I'm glad they had that test run to kind of figure out. But yeah, just like it was such an effective staging. The intimacy that they create with that.
At the end of the performance, they do highlight the camera operator and their lighting assistant in the performance, because it's like, yeah, like I will tear up again if I continue talking about it.
They've found a way to do that very close, intimate staging where you have that beautiful sort of bokeh effect of everybody's phone light at like the appropriate moment of the song. But yeah, no, like they've done such a beautiful job with that song. They should be very proud. Excellent work, Switzerland. That's why we're here. Spain is still kind of doing too many things, but also they're not showing me enough of the things so that I can figure out how they work. Because like she's in the hat and the dress, and then she comes out from behind the curtain and is in something completely different in a way where I'm like, is the hat and dress bit pre-recorded and she's just singing over it?
I don't get that sense. I feel like it's borrowing the same sort of elements that started off Gustav's performance in 2023. I don't think they had the shot framed correctly, at least relative to the rehearsals, because the train of her dress is actually her like dancers in disguise. It's kind of like as a is it cake type thing.
Oh
yeah, so yeah, like it's really cool, but because of the way that it was framed, you miss that, and that is probably an element that they could cut, because that part of the dress doesn't really.
Yeah, there's like one thing too many in the performance, because like there's the curtain, and then she comes out from behind the curtain, and then she does some stuff up here, and then the curtain goes away, and there's like the risers, and then she both destroys the Parthenon and then restores it again with the power of her voice during that one note.
As a diva would. So, oh yeah, we didn't even talk about Poland. We need to circle back to Poland.
Yeah, we're going to circle back to Poland because, yeah.
But yeah, like I'm I'm on board with Spain. I'm thinking it will finish left-hand side. Like it's I don't know. It's Spain in their lane.
Yeah,
I did
yeah,
not
like
mean for that
they're
to
they're
rhyme.
they're doing the right things. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Italy, I find him completely charming. I love that they have sort of the oversized amp in the background. We are not disabusing the notion that he is 5 apples tall. With the UK, since we are covering the big five, is their vocals sound very good. It's well, I mean
I don't even know if I agree
they
with
sounded
that.
good. They sounded good to me during the main show. Yeah, they've been a little rough in the rehearsals, but like that's what rehearsal is for maybe not going super ham, but yeah, just like the costuming on all of it for me, the whole song now kind of feels like it feels very Six, the musical that's like the Wives of Henry VIII as pop stars, but they wanted to write like a new version that was the Disney princesses, but like, getting to be real women. And like they're having a bad girls' night, but also the Walt Disney Corporation said no immediately when we called them. So just like it's the yellow one and the blue one and the pink one, just call Dolly style, guys.
This is the definition of phoning it in, and I think they know that. At least that's what was coming across during the rehearsals, especially yesterday's rehearsal, where it's like, oh, there are 0 Fs in this performance.
Although, on that note, so I subscribe to the newsletter Pop Bitch, which is very good for like UK sort of like C tier gossipy things.
Mm-hmm.
And notice that yesterday's was called Nil Points. I immediately opened it up and scrolled down to the thing. I'm like, ooh, what's the dish? And I don't know the veracity of their sources. I trust them slightly more than I would something like the Globe or the Mail.
Yeah.
But whoever informs the Pop Bitch newsletter, there is a section called the Unhappy Mondays. The UK's first rehearsal for this year's Eurovision didn't go exactly to plan, and no one seems to quite know why. Usually after rehearsal, the acts go to a viewing room to review their performance and ask for production changes for sound, camera, and lights, etc. Except for some reason this year, the UK delegation didn't want to let the girls from Remember Monday, Britain's 2025 entry, into the room. They eventually forced their way in, only to be ushered right back out by their BBC handlers, leaving them as the only act to not see their own first performance.
Oh,
Doesn't
wow.
bode well for 12 points, but you can see them tonight on what it says is the first semifinal, but should be the second. If that's what happened at their first rehearsal, I could see them being a little no Fs at the second one. Anyways, BBC, what are you doing? What is the plan, my bros? We should circle back to the various divas now that we mentioned Asa Diva. Poland, a dragon?
Among other things. So that was the most viewed video on YouTube of the first semifinal performances today.
There's something about just sort of the nature of that number and the various shots of like her with the dancers throughout like the dance break that just for whatever reason reminded my brain immediately of like the Vegas review from Showgirls. But no, Poland is doing so many things.
You mean all of the things?
Just like all of I mean, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
They were super charming in the green room. Like, I'm hopeful that they get a really good result. I see this doing very well with the televote jury. I think there'll be some sympathetic juries at least. Just because she's doing some really amazing vocal things as well.
She
like
really is.
That one power note while she's also spinning. Like it's like it kind of goes into the figure skating metaphor of just being like, oh, trick after trick after trick, but it still feels cohesive. So.
Yes. And then the Maltese performance has so many like I caught new things happening in the background this time around. Most just like, oh man, the positioning of those legs.
Yeah. I didn't see that one until like I think the second rehearsal. Be like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here.
We are not allowed to say that word, but we are certainly thinking it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The visual language is strong.
Yes. Having seen that full one, like I don't think she needs the dress at the beginning, but she's having fun.
I feel like it's lost the cheekiness. Like there's a fine line between being cheeky and going blue, and I'm not sure where the bouncing yoga ball has landed on that line. This feels like it's like trending closer towards WAP than like where it started. That song's a banger, but it doesn't have as much of a sense of humor, it feels like. But I don't know, like censorship will do that. So of the 26 songs that are in the grand final, what are your picks?
I've been thinking about this a lot today I don't know if it was just it was part of the first semifinal, and so kind of a quieter audience. But I'm wondering if Sweden has lost a little bit of its momentum. And one thing that I had not thought about is that as somebody who follows this from the beginning, I am very big on the narrative that Kai is bringing in, that they were an underdog at Melfest. This is something different for Sweden. But like, come the night, there's probably a decent chunk of the audience who may be looking at this and going, this is, even though we know that there's more to it under the surface than that, this is just still Sweden doing Sweden. I think it still has a very strong chance with the televote. This could be the runaway winner still. But I think that there's enough runway that something else could be the surprise winner here. I think that Albania is in the mix. I think Finland could be in the mix if the wind is the right direction.
I think Greece is also part of that conversation because that really was a phenomenal vocal. I'm worried that Greece and Albania are going to be like taking points off of each other because they are kind of occupying the same sort of space. I'm not convinced that Sweden's going to win at this point. I'm not convinced that Austria is going to win. Like I really think that that's a Marmite entry for folks, and it's going to struggle with televote.
Scrolling Blue Sky, I feel like I've seen as many people that really like that entry as really don't.
Yeah. Although, like, if it ends up meeting in the middle in 37 countries, like 37 times 6, that's a lot of points. Also, Ukraine and Israel, they are probably going to get a lot of televote, as the last couple of years have demonstrated. So I think that's going to complicate matters. And I think the juries have a lot to choose from. And so like on the one hand, I think we will get a televote winner finally, instead of it being the jury that is determining the winner. But I think that could also mean that it's very possible that Ukraine or Israel could end up taking it because of previous voting patterns. And I am very curious to see how the EBU is going to navigate that outcome. I think it's a real contest this year.
Yes,
that's what's important. Like, it's
that is
not
what's
a
important. That's what I'm
winner.
excited about. If we were in Stockholm next year, if that still holds, I wouldn't be mad. Tirana, first time host. Wouldn't that be fun?
Mm-hmm.
There's a few others of this could be a first time host, because again, like, I think you're right that it's maybe gone a little bit too bawdy. But Malta has been in the conversation a few times. If Finland did it, I would be elated. I mean, if only because, like, if Finland wins, you know they're inviting Kai.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, they would probably invite Kai to host.
Oh, that would be just like Kai plus Erica Vickman. I mean, Kai as host would be fun. On the other hand, Karja and Erica Vickman rally Englantying their way through the proceedings would also be very fun.
Oh, man. Having Erica working the green room. That, okay, I'm adding that to my dream journal right now.
Alternate green room host, Karja's little friend in the yellow suit who doesn't say anything, just does Charlie Chaplin in the background.
It should be a great show on Saturday. If you're in the U.S., it will be on Peacock at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. Any final thoughts before the final?
It's going to be a fun one. I don't know who's going to win, and that's delightful to me. That's going to do it for this episode of the EuroWhat. Thanks for listening. The EuroWhat podcast is hosted by Ben Smith, that's me, and Mike McComb.
That's me. You can find our full archive of episodes on our website at EuroWhat.com. You can also find us on Blue Sky at EuroWhat. Eurovision community has been popping over there, so come over and join the fun.
Next time on the EuroWhat, we share our immediate reactions on the grand final and the winner of the 2025 Eurovision Song Contest.